GT Cup Open Europe, about to go racing for the second time in 2020. The first of 6 stops this season brings us to the Hungaroring, a driver's favourite circuit. Round number 1 of the championship. Is brilliant to be back, isn't it? Cars just making their way round to the grid now, and we had a repeat result in terms of pole position in qualifying. Aldo Vestante with his lockdown haircut, qualifying at the head of the field. Just, of course, Aldo Vestante, someone used to single-seater racing. Now that's a very good sign, and I'll tell you why. Albert Astragas in the Trans Am Euro car only completed a few laps yesterday, went out on, I think it was roughly the 3rd lap of the race, came to a halt at the next corner, so going into the chicane, pulled off. He didn't take part in qualifying, so unsurprisingly he's going to start right at the back of the field, but very good sign to see that the car has now been fixed and Albert Astragas is going to get going again. So great job there by the NM Racing team. That's the number 10, Daniel Diaz-Varela, who is heading round to the grid. Now, GT Cup Open Europe, of course, most of the teams made up of 2 drivers. One of those, or 2 of those, are not. One of those is starting pole position and the other one is starting on 3rd. Yesterday's race winner, Jean Font. This is Aldo Vestante you're seeing, though, number 51. Puts a lot of pressure on his shoulders, judging by his interview after he took pole position this morning. Almost seemed slightly embarrassed with himself that he didn't go and take the win from pole position yesterday. I think he has higher expectations of himself than you possibly can. It was Aldo Vestante who took pole, and I think after that, only first was going to do. He needs to kind of think of the season ahead, really. He scored good points with his 3rd place finish yesterday. But Aldo Vestante finished in 3rd place, took a podium, and you'd expect him to be a happy man, but that wasn't really the case. So for his sake, I hope he goes 1 or 2 better today. This is the number 13 that we're looking at now. This is yesterday's race winner. This is Jean Font. Conveniently enough, it kind of says that across the side of his car, doesn't it? J. Font. Drove very well yesterday, did Jean Font. Had a fantastic pit stop. Team going very well. The Baporo Motorsport team, who have 2 cars out there today. One of those in 5th place. So they're going to be starting directly behind each other. Jean Font won. He was being chased down quite heavily by Vincent Beltois, who qualified 2nd this afternoon, but in the end just able to hold on. This is the number 77, similar to the 26, which I talked about earlier. This car could do with finishing today. Robert Heffler and Philippe Valenza. Philippe Valenza is going to start in the car, and what a comeback overnight. They have made some huge transformations, and they found a bit of pace with it as well. And Philippe Valenza has gone and qualified on pole position. He didn't qualify yesterday. Robert Heffler did. Might explain the difference, being that is a Pro-Am team, so 1 Pro and 1 Am driver. Number 22 now pulling up. This is Vincent Beltois, races alongside Nicky Lutweiler. Beltois was incredibly quick yesterday, Pro in that team. He pulls into grid slot now. Had a good day, did Vincent Beltois and Nicky Lutweiler, but again, like Aldo Vestante, they seemed slightly disappointed to only walk away with 2nd. This is a seriously competitive championship, I can tell you that, judging by the interviews we've had. It's been hard for us, as myself, including the other commentators we have here in the other languages. It's been hard for us to get around and speak to a lot of the drivers. We've got to remember that there is a pandemic going on, and there is precautions that have been put in place by the championship to ensure that we do go racing, but we do so safely as well. So it's been hard to actually get around and chat to the drivers, but the interviews have really given us an idea of what they're thinking. We always speak to the drivers after qualifying and the race, and I can tell you that Beltois was not too pleased to walk away with 2nd place. It looked at almost a glum podium, with Vestante, who seemed disappointed, Lutweiler and Beltois likewise, but there was a very happy Jean Font in the middle of the pair of them. He was absolutely delighted, did it all on his own as well. So let's go through the grid. Starting from pole position is going to be Aldo Vestante, one of the younger drivers on the grid. Single-seater racer. We've seen him in the likes of Euro Formula Open and Aldo Vistante is going to lead us away. Starting alongside is going to be Vincent Beltois. It's a rolling start, remember. He's going to be starting from second place. Vincent Beltois, very quick yesterday. He'll have one aim, get to the lead, get a gap, and then hand over to Nicky Lutweiler. Vistante will do it on his own, but he'll have to stay in the pits for a certain amount of time so that the stop would still be the same if a driver change were to occur as well. Likewise with Jean Font, he's going to be starting from third. Let's see if he can do the double. I'm sure he'd be very pleased with that, but 2 podiums, I think he'd take that. If these guys finish today, then they've done better already. Philippe Valenza and Robert Heffler are going to start on row number 2. Good day at the office for them this morning. Let's see if they can carry that on this afternoon. Philippe Valenza is going to start in the car. Then we come to Daniel Diaz Varela. Didn't have a good start to the race, did these guys yesterday. Daniel was not in the car for that race start. That was his teammate who was in the car of Manuel Cerqueda. And Manuel Cerqueda ran into some problems going down towards turn number 1, dropped all the way to the back of the field. But eventually they would recover to 4th place, so they had a good run of things at the end. Fell just short of a podium. That said, the top 3 seem to have more pace, seem to have an edge on the rest of the field, I say. Luis Silva is there next along. He's going to be alongside Antonio Combra. They're going to be starting from 6th place. Then we have the number 88, Michael Blanchimont. He starts from 7th place. Yesterday they finished in 6th place. Fairly decent day for them in that Aston Martin. They'll have to go one better than qualifying to match that today. Then we have the number 40, the only BMW in the field. So it's going to be Gregor Silio who's going to be starting in the car. Saber Walter will jump in at the pit stop. And then now we're going to have a look at the Trans Am Euro car, and there it is, the number 26. Been a lot of talk about this car, Trans Am Euro, but sadly we didn't see it for very long in the race. Hopefully we get to see a little bit more of it today. There's Albert Estregas getting ready to go racing. Race 2, GT Cup Open Europe. Grid is set, and it's now being cleared by everyone on it, albeit the drivers who will be left with their own thoughts as they get ready to go round for the pace lap. Rolling start will kick us off 55 minutes, and there will be a pit stop as well. The driver changes will start at around 23 minutes into the race. There's not a huge time to get those changes done either, so we will see drivers coming in fairly quickly. It lasts about 10 minutes. Let's remind you of the grid. We went through it quite slowly when we were on there, so let's go through it a little bit quicker this time. Aldo Vistante and Vincent Beltois, both in Porsches, albeit different models. They're on the front row. Jean Font, the Porsches dominating this championship so far. Then we have the first of the non-Porsches, Philippe Valenza in the Aston Martin Vantage. Row 3, Daniel Diaz Varela in the Audi R8, Luis Silva in the Mercedes AMG GT4. And then behind that, on row number 4, Michael Blanchimont, another Aston Martin with the BMW M4, Gregor Silio. And then Albert Estregas in the Trans Am Euro car will be hoping to finish. Well, there you can see now, grid is being cleared. It's out of the team's hands now. They've done the best they can to prepare the cars for the races. Now it's all down to the drivers in them to see what they can do. 55 minutes around the Hungaroring circuit. It is a real test, and well, myself and Elliot yesterday, who I'm sure will be with me shortly, we were talking about the challenge of having that sole driver in the car, and would it take a toll on them as the race went on, particularly in the heat. It's over 30 degrees here at the Hungaroring today. Although my luck, I hear it's like that back over in the UK as well. Always is when I go somewhere warm. But Jean Font and Aldo Vistante, both in the cars on their own. It seems like Aldo Vistante had a bit of a struggle in the second half of the race, but Jean Font dealt with the pressure very, very well as we set off then for the formation lap. And leading us is going to be Aldo Vistante. Now, yesterday he built a little bit of a gap, but he was kept very honest by Nicky Lutweiler. And And the first race was one of two halves. It was first out of Estante, got that gap, and then Nicky Leutwiler closed it back in as we approached the pit stops. Then it got handed over. Jean Font managed to appear with a lead. Beltoir was then the man in chase. Vastante was due to be one of those as well, but he just couldn't hold on to Beltoir. The gap between them in the end was 17 seconds. So Font, Leutwiler, Vastante, Diaz Varela, Combra, Adler, Sigo. We had Heffler, Stragas. That was the order yesterday that they finished in. Vastante, I think, coming in today was obviously first race yesterday. Not a huge amount of GT experience to his name. I think yesterday he was just getting himself into it. You know, the first race is now done, it's out the way. Hopefully for him, the nerves have now disappeared, or has at least shrunk. And today he can go out and with no pressure on his shoulders, really. I say that, but he was apologising for his hair at the end of qualifying, so that gives you an idea of how self-conscious Aldo Vastante is. There's the number 10 Audi R8. Very nice looking car. Let's hope they get a better start today. Now you look at the grid, of course, you know, with the pandemic, it's no grid in motorsport as big as it should have been, but we've still got a decent field out there, and we had some brilliant racing yesterday, which went pretty much all the way down to the wire, kept us on the edge of our seats all the way to the end. So we've got an exciting race coming up for you, I can promise you that. 55 minutes on the clock for us, and it's the main stories to watch out for. Can Jean Font in third? He's to the left of your picture, second car in view, number 13. Can he do the double? Can Aldo Vastante get that win after his second pole position now? And Beltoir, can he go out and take the victory, which he came so close to doing yesterday? I know those three stories all sound the same, but this is one race, so I guess they should do. What about the 77? Can they finish? What can the Trans Am Eurocar do all the way at the back of the field? We haven't really seen that doing what it's capable of just yet. But safety car at the head of the field will now roll into the pit lane. There it goes. And we are about to get ready to go racing for the second time in 2020 in the GT Cup Open Europe. The cars round the final corner. And as we look head on, to the left of screen will be Aldo Vastante, and to the right of screen will be Vincent Beltoir. Look out the window as they come across. And are we all going to get a clean start? Yes, we are. The Trans Am Eurocar at the back has actually already made one place as we head down towards turn number 1 for the first time. Aldo Vastante holding the inside line there, and Vincent Beltoir is going to be trying brave. He's going to be trying to go brave all the way around the outside. Does he get round? Yes, just about, but he's going to be in second place still. Vastante doing a good job. This is almost a repeat of yesterday in terms of the battle for the lead. Vastante having to defend there from Beltoir. Jean Font slotting into third place, and we've got Philippe Valenza in fourth place. Daniel Diaz Varela is fifth. Luis Silva is sixth, and it's Michael Blanchimont. Sigo is in eighth place. Estragas is at the back of the field as they make their way now down through turn number 4. You see Estragas, sorry, he's gone ahead of Sigo, so that is a change for eighth place, which happened across the line. But the top 6 have got a bit of a gap over the rest of the field here as they make their way down to the chicane for the first time. Into the chicane we go. Vastante, a lot of curb for him through there. They've got to be careful of track limits in this corner. We've had plenty of warnings going out there. That's through turn number 8 and 9 we go now for the first time. Gap already being built here. This is exactly what we saw yesterday from Aldo Vastante. Built a gap early, just wasn't quite able to hold on to it as we approach the pit stops, and the clock is rolling on that. The driver changes will happen in 21 minutes and 30 seconds. So for the drivers that are in the cars now, this is kind of their chance to make their impact on this race. One or two things can happen when that happens. The driver can either throw it away and bin it off by pushing too hard, or they can go out, get a gap, and make the task of the driver they're going to hand over to a little bit easier. There's that Trans Am Euro car. Gregor Sigo is actually being dropped at the back of the field in the BMW. I hope he's not carrying a problem in that car. Just have a look as he comes past the commentary box window. It doesn't appear everything seems to be okay on that car. I think I saw someone trying to go for a move in the background. Might have been Michael Blanchimont that was about to go past Daniel Diaz-Varela. Wasn't quite able to get through though. I can see that at the top of the picture. But they are still as they were. It's close between Luis Silva and Albert Estregas. This is Diaz-Varela and Michael Blanchimont in that order. Blanchimont in the picture now with number 88 trying to make that move. But the gaps at the end of the first lap. Bastante leads by 1.4 seconds. And it's a further 1.6 back to João Fontes. Philippe Valenta is a further 2 seconds back in 4th place. And then just under a second back in 5th is Daniel Diaz-Varela as they head through turn number 5 and up towards the chicane. Now you can see pushing the limits there over the chicane was Vincent Beltois, as was the number 10 as well, Daniel Diaz-Varela. I know my job isn't to be a steward, but you can't help it sometimes, can you? Here we look at now coming into view. This is the number 13 of João Fontes, just under 2 seconds away. So really for João Fontes, he wants to wait till later in the race as he's running a little bit wide there coming out of the chicane as we're going to have a move now being made to the right-hander, are we? The Trans Am Eurocar trying to get up the inside of the 99 Luis Silva. Trying to force Luis Silva into a mistake there, and he was almost successful as they head through the final corner now. 26 there. Great to see him going round, but it was around this lap last time yesterday where they unfortunately came to a halt. They did 2 laps yesterday, and as they complete their second, I think there might be some nerves down in the NN Racing Team garage. Bastante's gap hovering at just over a second. Last time it actually came down, Beltois was actually closing it in, but we'll stay with this battle. 4-7 between Luis Silva and Albert Estregas. Through turn number 2 now and towards turn number 3, the downhill right-hander. No moves being made just yet. There are only 2.5 tenths between them, though. It is very quick, isn't it? Just over 50 minutes on the clock here. So come through the right-hander. Let's have a look at a replay of the start then, see what all happened there. So, very even start really. On the outside there, one of the Mercedes getting a real good start to the race, but then there was that little bit of contact which we didn't spot first time there. And that was definitely spotted somewhere. That's Nicky Lutwiler, you can see in view there, watching teammate Vincent Beltois. These two are really clear from João Fontes now. 1.1 seconds between them. And Lutwiler confident in his teammates' abilities. Bastante, the Italian. Gap remains at just over 1 second as they turn their way into the final corner. This is João Fontes. So he heads now through the final corner. Gap 4.6 seconds to him, to the rest of the field. Let's see what it is if it's going up. It was 4.6. Yeah, it's 5.2 now, so it is going up. This is the Trans Am Eurocar that's been trying to get past that number 99 of Luis Silva, who was involved in that incident at the first corner. I wonder if there's ever so slight damage to that car. Running a little bit wide under braking there. I wonder if that's Estregas being able to force him into a mistake. Not quite, but better on the brakes, I think. It's Mercedes of Luis Silva than the Trans Am car. They turn their way through turn number 2. Brilliant circuit this year. When you actually come to the Hungaroring, it's my first time here, you really get an idea of the elevation changes that we have around here. From the start-finish straight, we are looking down at the section at the track that they are on now. I mean, even between the penultimate corner and the last corner, it's a lot more of a steeper climb uphill than it appears to be on camera, as round turn number 10 and 11 go the 2 leaders. Gap down to 1 second, by the way, between Bastante and Beltois. You'll see coming up conveniently enough on screen now. Down the hill they go, and it's 1.3. So Bastante having a bit of a better lap this time as they make their way up towards the penultimate corner. There is a climb uphill. Yeah, you can probably see it from that camera view, actually. starting to make their way uphill now to the right-hander onto the start-finish straight. This is the main battle on track. It is our battle for the lead, of course. The quickest car out there in terms of down the straight is Albert Estregas in the Trans Am Eurocar. Now, he has the best toe because he's literally right on the rear bonnet of Lewis Silva. But 228 is his speed down the straight. 219 is what Verstante's pulling. 226 for Lewis Silva in the Mercedes. We do have a warning flag going out for car 99, and that is Lewis Silva, and that's for track limits. Oh, here we go. This is all kicking off now, isn't it? Oh, that's a brave move on Michael Blanchimont, and that was always going to go badly. Lewis Silva, that was not a good move, though. There's a little bit of smoke coming out that Trans Am Eurocar, which is worrying me a little bit, but I wonder if that move's going to be getting looked into. Hopefully we'll grab a replay of it, because it just appeared that that was never going to work. And Lewis Silva quite literally forcing his way through on Michael Blanchimont here. Let's have another look at it. Now, you look at that picture, you're never going to go for a move there, right? And Lewis Silva, I don't know if he's made a mistake here and he has nowhere else to go, but tags Michael Blanchimont there. And Blanchimont, I think the words, where did he come from, will appear. Where did he come from? Those words quite conveniently enough. I look to my right, Elliot Wood's there. Elliot, how are you doing?
Very good. I've been in the paddock trying to get all the pre-race info and seeing how the teams are doing.
You don't have to make excuses for taking longer to eat your lunch. Don't worry, don't worry. How's things looking in the paddock? Everything good, but let's talk more about the action going on track. What did you make of that move there from Lewis Silva?
It was a very late move, but it was saved by the Aston Martin car opening up the steering once they're at the apex of the corner. Otherwise, it would have spanned round, potentially could have had a safety car. Cars behind it crashed, and we've got an incident. The incident is now under investigation between the pairs, so the stewards are already onto it.
It's good to see this Trans Am Eurocar is circulating still after 2 laps, and it doesn't look too bad. It's the quickest car down the straight so far. And it's, you know, it's making a couple of places, and now it's challenging Lewis Silva, who never could be getting a penalty for that move anytime soon.
Yep, the Trans Am Eurocar does have a 521 brake horsepower V8 Corvette engine, I think it is.
It sounds good, doesn't
certainly it? Chevrolet source, so it's yeah, it's pretty handy down the straights, but it's also a very hard track to overtake at. So, you know, it's got a challenge, and also didn't do any mileage in qualifying, which definitely puts it at a disadvantage.
Well, you can see confirmation that we are under investigation. Thoughts coming into this one, of course, we're going to have the driver changes coming up shortly. Font and Verstappen will have to stay in the pits longer, but there is this championship, similar to touring cars, does carry a ballast rule with it as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, we have a handicapping system which takes place during the pit stops, and it's kind of adding time to how long you have to stay stationary. And Aldo Verstappen had to serve a 10-second penalty per se because he's a solo driver in his car, as the Trans Am Eurocar has a look at turn 5, not really a usual overtaking spot. But Verstappen successfully had that move down to 5 seconds, which may help keep him in contention with Jan Font, who also had a handicap yesterday. We believe it might have been shorter, given how quick his pit stop that was.
So the handicap rules will come into play at the pit window, as they can see the Trans Am Eurocar is getting. I tell you what, there's someone very happy out there. It's getting all the TV time, isn't it? You know, it may not have got a lot yesterday, but it's getting a lot of it today. And the mistake there from Lewis Silva, filling the mirrors of Silva, has now worked. And there goes the 26, Albert Estregas, and he goes through and into 6th place. Smiles and someone, a couple of happy faces down there. One or two happier than others, but it is on the move, it is out there, and I think more than anything they'll just want to see that car come home to the end. But it's gained 3 places now so far. Up to 6th place is Albert Estregas, and now 2.1 seconds to make up to the next driver. Here's another look at the move, and it was just a simple mistake. You can see Lewis Silva is taking a tighter entry into the corner, not wanting to slow down enough to make up for that, and filling the mirrors there has paid off for Estregas. Good driving. He now goes through to 6th.
And the team manager of car 99, Lewis Silva, is now reporting to race control about that incident we saw earlier.
Well, I mean, it was a bit of a clumsy move, really, wasn't it? So I wouldn't be surprised if that gave an added on-time penalty at the end of the race, for example. this is the battle between the leaders, though, and I mean, it may be Beltoir in the car today rather than Luttweiler in the 22, but this is very similar to the situation we saw yesterday.
Yeah, we have Verstappen in the lead for the first stint, trying to stretch out a gap that he needs, but not quite getting to the point where it covers off his pit stop handicap. Yeah, it'll be very interesting, because after qualifying, he actually commented on us commenting on him, saying he was sad because he was very happy after qualifying, and said he wanted to kind of undo what he did yesterday and change it around so he could win this race.
He's his own worst critic, isn't he? And a lot of racing drivers are, to be honest. Around the final corner, let's see if Verstappen can get that win today. Oh, here we go. It's the Trans Am Eurocar again, absolutely flying. I don't sound surprised because of what it is. It's just because it hardly did any laps yesterday. This is really good to see. So it's a pleasant surprise more than anything else. Albert Estregas now hassling the back of Daniel Diaz of Varela. We're really going to see the grunt of that Trans Am Eurocar down the start-finish straight. Here we go. Let's see what it is getting down the straight. 226 last time. It did over the 223 on Varela. Varela's going to have to defend. Estregas looks to the outside. Diaz Varela going, I think, overly defensive there. That's going to not what that's going to do him a disadvantage on the exit of the corner. But I think he just got away with it. So Diaz Varela not only playing it safe, but very, very safe. As we are now just under 10 minutes away from driver swaps. Downhill right-hander coming up next. Making their way now uphill into the fast left. Although Verstappen still leads a little bit further around the track than these guys are. This is the number 26 of Albert Estregas doing the whole race on his own.
I think Estregas has been a Mustang fan all his life, which is why he's picked this Trans Am Eurocar. Just checking out his Instagram here to try and see how much he'd done racing in the car previously. He did race at the end of last year and he won a race at Jarama, so he certainly knows the ins and outs of it, as he getting very close to the rear end of the Audi there, on corners you wouldn't normally associate with overtaking.
No, but this is just the constant pressure, isn't it? This is going to have Diaz Varela kind of looking in his mirrors as he's halfway through a corner. This is just pressure driving from Albert Estregas. He's desperate to get by. You can't blame him. He didn't finish yesterday. He wants to go and get a good one today. This will put him 5th place. He's giving that car a good running here. Let's see if he can get the move done. It's going to be turn 1 where we see it. Black and orange for car 88, Michael Blanchimont. The driver door is open. Okay, let's... too sure if I didn't quite see that. I mean, we haven't really seen Michael Blanchimont. Now that would have been from the contact made by Luis Silva. As Luis Silva goes past us, let's have a look at this, see if Albert Estregas can get the move done.
But these cars are left-hand drive, so surely the driver door will be on the left.
Well,
and the contact came in from the right.
No, that's a very good point, actually, and it's coming in. So that's not due to the incident, then, isn't it? That's due to something else.
And the Trans Am is ahead now, so it's making some pretty rapid progress on the field. And looking at its last lap time, 1 minute 53, it's pretty level with all but the Porsches. So this could be a 4th place finish for this car.
Well, the gap now. Oh, here we'll find out exactly what's going on. With the car.
Have you had to do that for, you know? Well, obviously we don't drive actually, so we can't say that. But you know, when you think the car door might not have shut properly, and you've got to double check.
Yeah, I was going to say neither of us drive, so this is a conversation we definitely can't have. Oh, no. There we go. That's Luis Silva. That has grinded to a halt, unfortunately.
And Blanchimont's also had a warning flag for cut the chicane. It's trouble for everyone at the moment.
Oh dear, what's going on? All trouble for Albert Estregas, who's making positions, and for these two, of course, they're leading 1.2 seconds now. Will this be a safety car job?
It's going slow on track, and I think they could take it to the barriers.
It's in a fast section, though. It's coming out of turn 3, isn't it? I'm sure that's where I saw it. That's a very fast section of the track. Turn 3 is flat.
Yeah. So it goes downhill, then uphill.
Yeah, and so it's kind of stuck in the middle there, isn't it? Let's have a look. Well, we should see it if that is where it is.
does look like Festante's already going cautiously. The gap has closed down in that first sector.
This is a replay of yesterday, isn't it? Well, car 99 must still be going because it's...
He must have got to turn 4
he must
because
have
the
made
yellow
it.
flags have now made it to turn 4.
So, yeah, well, there he is. I think we just caught a glimpse of him. He is between turns 3 and 4. The yellow flags are waving there. There it is. So that is how far the 99 made it. And we haven't yet seen Lewis Silver get out of that car.
Well, they should be flying the yellow flags at turn 3, ideally. Well, the car is stopped in between
the safety
the two
car's
corners.
coming out, so safety car is out. This is, I'll tell you what, this is great news for Albert Estregas, isn't it?
And great news for Jan Font as well, because he dropped 16 seconds to the lead pair. And with his pit stop advantage, that could catapult him into the lead. In fact, the driver pit window opens at 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's Nicky Lemoyne, isn't it? That's getting ready to get us into
Swiss flag on the helmet, I believe it is.
Yeah, that's Nicky. Well, usually it's you usually tell them apart by their sort of race helmets, but in this kind of race, that doesn't really happen because we can't really see them when they're in the cars. But I believe that is definitely Nicky Lemoyne getting ready to go.
And Lemoyne is obviously doing the GT Open Series this weekend as well.
He is
doubling up,
all on his own as well. So he's really given himself a test, isn't he? Let's summarise where we are. Well, first of all, let's look at this move. We never saw this, and this is going to be the easiest overtake you'll ever see, I think, as Albert Estregas goes through. And I think he was cautious, actually, there that there was going to be a car on the outside still.
Yeah, it did look like he left the door open, but then the superior traction of that Trans Am car just made it look very easy in the end.
Yeah, he looked worried that as he was going to go to the exit of the corner, there was going to be a car there. He's going to make contact. And well, there is Lewis Silver walking away. Blanchimont is in the pits, so that's problems for 2 cars. That's exactly what we had yesterday, problems for 2 cars as well. Into turn number 3, all behind the safety car now. So why don't we have a little recap then of what's happened. Aldo Vestante leads us from pole position, finished 3rd yesterday. He's the number 51 at the head of the field. He was being kept honest by Vincent Beltois, who will soon hand over to Nicky Lemoyne. And the pair of them were split by only around a second. We're just shy of that, just over that. Jean Font was 3rd, but he was quite a few seconds back from the top 2. It was really a race of 2. But the pit stops yesterday is where it all kind of played into Jean Font's favour. Then we had quite a big gap to Philippe Valenza, who's the 3rd of the prime drivers, there in the number 77. And then behind that, we have Albert Estregas. Albert Estregas is in the Trans Am car, and we were just talking before this happened. Could Albert Estregas get 4th? That task is going to become a little bit more easy for him now. We've got the likes of Daniel Diaz and Breda, Sigo, and Lewis Silver.
I think the safety car will help the Estregas car because it's heavier than its opposition and it's going faster at the end of the straight, so it's going to be harder on the brakes and the tyres. So having a safety car period will ease that wear rate to a certain extent against its rivals.
Now Blanchimont is 4th in that queue, but he's a couple of laps down, so he's going to be in the way for Albert Estregas, which is going to be incredibly frustrating. The safety car is in, so we're about to go racing once again. Vestante is going to lead the queue. He's going to be keen to get away very quickly.
At the end of this lap, I expect some of them will be coming to the pits because the driver pit window will open at that point.
Right around the final corner, and the race is going to get restarted here at the Hungaroring. And look at the time, Albert Estregas is losing 6th in that queue, rather. He's going to be stuck behind the number 88 of
Looks
Blanchimont.
like he's going to go for an overtake going to turn 1. He's picking the outside line. Vestante's holding on to the inside. He keeps the corner. Or does he? Hits the apex. He's a little late. He's got the outside line. Don't think they're going to try another move into turn 2.
Thought you spoke too soon there, but they're going to be side by side down towards turn number 2. Verstappen to the right of picture, Beltois to the left, and behind Jalfon, hoping something goes wrong for the pair of them as they now make their way in towards turn number 3. Flat out right-hander, Philippe Valenta keeping them honest as well. So it's 4 for the lead almost as they head up towards turn number 4 now. This for the 12th time of asking. Estragas has cleared Bonchimon in the background, but that looks like it could be a brave move from Vincent Beltois. Would have ended in disaster if he tried it as well. This could be the last laps that they all set now before driver swaps happen. Verstappen still leading the way out front as they come through the chicane. Up towards turn number 8 we go. There you can see Verstappen, Beltois, Font in that order. Font trying his best to stay with them now as we approach pit stops. I think they may have to do one more lap here. 15 seconds until driver change is going to happen, so it's going to be a few seconds in it.
As the BMW just crosses the line after the safety car, so that was some way behind the rest of the pack there.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Gregor Sigo, but he's had some big issues. Driver changes can now happen, and they only have 9 minutes to do it.
Looks like he had a very slow sector 1, about 26 seconds off what everyone else is doing.
So that was behind the safety car. He's had a problem somewhere. If it's been spotted, one of the crew spot, if it's been picked up by the cameras, it will be shown to you. But if it hasn't, then all we can tell you is that there was a problem in sector 1 for Gregor Sigo, and now he finds himself over a minute behind the rest of the field, unfortunately. But no one in. Everyone's staying out for at least one more. They've got 8.5 minutes to make the pit stops. As we now head down towards turn number 2. Through turn 2, into 3 they go. You can see Verstappen from Beltois, from Font. It's Valenta, Estragas trying to chase down Valenta. The gap between Estragas, who of course was delayed by the other Aston Martin, the lapped Blanchimont at the restart, is 1.6 seconds behind Valenta, so we'll keep an eye on that gap. But this is the main battle. It's between the leaders, Verstappen, Beltois, and then that is Font. So a two-way fight it is between the leaders out front. Race winner sitting in third place. Oh, well.
To be fair, a few corners before, Verstappen had gone completely over the curbs as well. So they're even with the track limit violations there.
I mean, there's trying to get away with cutting a corner, and then there's just completely giving up on a corner, isn't there? Maybe Beltois lifted off the throttle, to be fair. I think that might be the case sometimes when we see drivers do that they just lift off as they do it to not gain an advantage, so to speak. So we won't go too hard just yet as we see something come up. But there is Estragas, and the gap is coming down, isn't it? It was 1.8. It was then 1.4 last time we checked, and that's a BMW I see in pit lane. So that's now Walter that's going to jump in that car. Do we see anyone else come in? They've only got, I can see, I think the Trans Am car is actually coming in as well. So Estragas will come in, but will remain in the car as they come across the line to complete another lap. And there is the Trans Am car that you can see on your screen now, the number 26 coming into pit lane. So 2 drivers in, of course. We have 8 drivers still going round. Lewis Silva sadly out. Blanchimont, albeit a couple of laps down, and Walter he's over a minute behind after he had a problem just before the restart. Estragas will stay in the car, but we'll have to remain there to make up for a driver change time. Into the left-hander, Verstappen leading, as this is Manuel Cercada who is being belted up, and Daniel Diaz-Ferreira has jumped out of the car. Manuel Cercada will jump into the car. So 3 stops have happened, 4 still remaining. I say that because I believe Michael Blanchimont has come in. In fact, there might be 5. Lewis Silva, we won't really include him in that count. But the 4 leaders haven't yet come in. And 2 of them we can see now. That's Ara Verstappen and Vincent Beltois, running in that order.
We expect the order to flip as they come out the pit stops due to the handicap system.
Yeah, the handicap system will come into play when they go into pit lane. that will see the cars swap round. But that's what gave us, you know, yesterday it was the pit stops that really kind of livened up the race, wasn't it? And it was a chase then for Beltois to try and chase down this man here, race winner from yesterday, Jean Font. None of them coming in yet. They've got 5 minutes left. So 2 or 3 laps remaining.
And they've got to spend at least 65 seconds in the pits. So of these remaining 4 minutes, a quarter of it has to be spent actually doing the pit stop.
Yes. So, I mean, it's going to be this lap or the next lap, really, that they come in. That is Robert Heffler, 4th place, is in. Robert Heffler is going to be the man that jumps in the car. Philippe Valenza has done his part of the race. So they've kind of split that in half, really. 27 minutes completed, 27 left to go. I think that's what a lot of the teams are going for, just split it down the middle in terms of time. Beltois seems to be dropping back now. I think Vestante has found a good rhythm here.
I also think that quite possible Vincent Beltois and Jean Font, they know after pit stops they will have track limits ahead of Vestante, so they can save their tyres, you know, their brakes. They can be a little kinder on the car now, knowing that after the pit stops, Vestante is going to have to work harder to get past them with his extra time spent in pit lane.
Yeah, it's, you know, you don't have to lead with 26 minutes to go. You only have to lead when the flag flies, isn't it? It's a case of that. But on this lap, Beltois is bringing that gap down. It must be hard though as a driver if, you know, on the last 2 or 3 laps you have, if you're being told not to push the maximum, that must be almost impossible to do, because this is their last chance this weekend to put some laps in.
And Stragas is under investigation for crossing the white line at pit exit.
Oh no, that's usually
becomes a penalty.
That, I mean, usually when that gets investigated, it's like a jump start, isn't it?
And the two Porsches are not side by side. The picture makes it look like it is, but as they go past, as they're not, Jan Font's already in the pits. So we expect this to be our new leader after the pit stop phase has played out.
Font in, so he'll come into the pits and conveniently stops pretty much right across from us. So you can see on screen, Jan Font. Of course, he's doing the whole race, and a quick refresh for him. Now, all we're waiting for is these two to get into the pits now.
And I think they might have left it a little too late. We've got 2.5 minutes left of the pit stop window. They've probably got 1:20 left of their lap. They're going to spend at least 1:10 in that pit stop, which comes across pretty much exactly how long the pit stop window is open for. So they left it to the very last second.
Yeah. I think it's a case of they're in, and I think that's all right, as long as they're in, you know, as long as they go past that entry point when you actually approach pit lane, when you've gone around the final corner.
Well, the driver change or the penalty in Festan's case has to be served or completed by the time.
By the time, yeah. So that's, well, 1:50 left. Yeah, they really are leaving this to the last second. They will come in this lap. If they don't, then they'll receive a quite a substantial penalty.
And Robert Heffler's now under pressure from Albert Stragas. 1.7 seconds between them. Stragas is rapidly closing in. I think that's due to the pit stop phase. He's already warmed up his tyres, so he's going to be a little faster.
They come. It is Vestante and Beltois. And we've got a warning for car flag. Warning for 22 for Beltois. Well, at turn 6, that's no surprise. We saw that. But also for turn 11 as well. In they come. 1 minute left on the clock. Just over that in terms of driver changes. Once that clock at the top left of your screen hits 23 minutes, that is when the pit stop time will close. So there's no, Vestante's doing it on his own, but the other car we'll see that Beltois jumped out and Leutwiler has jumped in, and this could be the new race leader, Jan Font. This is Vestante through the chicane, a little bit out of shape through there. Now the gap between Jean Font and Robert Heffler, it really isn't big, is it? It's 1.2. It's really close between Font, Heffler and Estragas. That's the gap. So there's Font, and then there's Heffler and Estragas. They're split by 3 seconds, all three of them. really close.
And we can also see the top two outside our window, and Verstante's already left his pit box before Nicky Luttweiler's now in the other Porsche.
They're going to have a bit of a gap here.
4 seconds left of the pit window. 2, 1, 0. They're both still in pit lane, but they are pretty much at the exit, so I think that would be fine.
I think they'll get away. Right, Font's about to come past us. There goes Font, and here come the two leaders. Verstappen ahead of Luttweiler, but that's, well, it's
really closing.
Yes, well, I tell you that the big beneficiaries of this are Heffler and Estragas. They've closed in. I mean, that we've got to remember there was a safety car right before, but Verstappen's definitely gained, hasn't he, in the pits. And Nicky Luttweiler has a little bit of a job to do. And Jean Font is where he was quick yesterday in the latter stages of the race. So let's see if that is to repeat itself. So now come through turn 4 towards turn number 5, towards the chicane. There's Verstappen, Luttweiler coming in now. So fresh driver in, the number 22. This is where Verstappen is going to be tested. He wasn't in the lead after the pit stops yesterday. He was in a 3rd place. So this for him is where the pressure is going to increase. And this is going to be a good battle to watch as well, isn't it? Heffler versus the man in shot there, Estragas.
I think Verstappen can take confidence in that. Luttweiler was in the car in the first stint yesterday, and that was when Verstappen was ahead. So he knows he can be faster than Luttweiler. It was Beltoir who got the better of him yesterday. So this is an encouraging sign for Verstappen, but there is another 21 minutes left of this race. Loads could change.
Indeed it could. Plenty of time for things to change here. We'll bring you the gaps as they come across the line now. So we know, now we've had the pit stops done, everyone's across the pits, and now they're crossing the line for the first time after that. So Verstappen, Luttweiler, 3.3 seconds, Luttweiler, Font, 1.8, and then from 3rd to 4th, 2.6. I don't have to give you the gap between 4th and 5th because they're about to go side by side almost. Estragas slipping to the outside here. Heffler going very heavily defensive. This is almost a repeat. Last time this happened, Estragas gained a place. It's going to be side by side here as they come out of the corner and down towards turn number 2. Estragas fading to go to the inside there. Heffler running a little bit wide under braking into turn number 2. What a result this would be if Estragas could finish 4th.
Yeah, an incredible amount of traction that car has through the first corner. I'm surprised no drivers have really covered off the inside line, knowing that that car can jump in and take a position. The team manager of the Estragas car, NM Racing Team, is Neil Montserrat. He used to race in Euro Formula when it was known as Spanish F3, I think.
That's
early 2000s,
yeah.
2004, 2008. And I think he did Formula Renault 3.5 as well.
Oh, bit different from the old school seaters, isn't it? The Trans Am car. Now through the right at turn 9 they go. The Trans Am car is the sponsors of that car are going to be very pleased. Oh, there's Jean Font getting all out of shape now. Nicky Luttweiler must have made a mistake somewhere.
Dropped 5 seconds, presumably on the previous lap that we didn't see.
Now he's having to contend with an impatient-looking Jean Font, who wants to get by and chase after race leader up to the last corner. So we've got 2 battles to keep an eye on now, and they're both as close as each other. You can see the other 2 going into the last corner, and well, Jean Font's made the task very easy if you follow, because his mistake means that that has given Nicky Luttweiler a bit of breathing space. In the background, the Trans Am car lining up a move. Here we go. This is Estragas trying to go on Heffler. It's a repeat of the last lap into the braking zone. Heffler looks good defensive driving, and yeah, covers off the cutback as well. So very good defending from Heffler, stopping the car on the apex, giving Estragas no other option but to put on the brakes, and he's going to hold on for now.
And Verstappen's actually at a rapid pace. His last lap was a 1 minute 50.888. His fastest lap's a 150.1. From the first race and earlier this race, I haven't really seen anyone go sub 1 minute 52, occasional 1 minute 51, so that is a huge lap. So it may not have been a mistake per se from Luttweiler, it may have been a mega lap from Festante.
Into the chicane, there you go, and Festante 6.3 seconds ahead, Nicky Luttweiler second, Jan Font third. This is Heffler and Albert Estregas. Nothing to report behind this at the moment. These are the two main battles on track. This is great news for Festante. He now can't see second place. That's how far ahead he is. And that's going to, I think, put him at ease a little bit, considering he's just looking to get this win, this first win done before he can move on with his season. As defending into the right-hander there's Robert Heffler having to go very heavily defensive. Albert Estregas trying to look up the inside as they now make their way into the penultimate corner. Estregas not able to find a way through there. Now they make their way up to the final corner. It's the final corner they go, and not going to be able to pass there. But what about down the start-finish straight? Every time down here, Heffler has taken the same defensive line. If you're Albert Estregas, surely you've got to try something different, because the switchback is not working. You've surely got to try and move down the inside if you can, or at least force Heffler to go really heavily defensive. But again, Heffler's going to stop the car on the apex, and Estregas is going to become more and more frustrated.
Festante opened up another second on that last lap. First two sectors, he built up the big gap, same time in the final sector as the two cars behind. But he seems to unlock the pace that Jan Font was showing yesterday.
Downhill, fourth and fifth, Heffler and Estregas. 7.7 back from this is where we find Circada.
Skate car is lonely, isn't he? Skate car is very lonely on track.
He has no friends, does he, back there at the moment?
Oh, and locked to brake by the Transat car there. A bit heavy over the curbs. That's giving the Aston Martin a little bit of breathing room, but a very little bit less than the car length between them still.
Here they come then, making their way through turns 10 and 11. This now for the 20th time. Estregas is going to try somewhere else here. That turn one move just isn't working for him. Downhill into the 90 right, and so far Heffler is dealing with the pressure very well. He's been under this pressure for a number of laps now. Since he basically jumped in the car, Heffler has had to deal with this. He jumped in from Philippe Valenza. His race has just been defending. Not an easy thing to do at times. Nicky Luttweiler, meanwhile, has a bit of breathing space, but here we go once again, and Estregas this time trying to find some space on the inside. It's going to be the exact same, isn't it? As Estregas. Well, I'd say Heffler braked almost too late there. He was definitely out of shape a bit, and now there's a gap on the inside, which will become the outside, and Estregas isn't going to make it there anyway, so they remain as they were once more.
Yeah, after several laps of basically doing the same thing, I think they both tried slightly different things that hasn't worked, so maybe they'll try another different thing on the next lap.
There we go, yeah, front right lock up there for the number 26 of Estregas.
And I think fuel loads are getting lighter now, because we're seeing cars hit their speed trap personal bests. 221.3 for Festante, who is of course alone, and 227 for Estregas. That's not even his best. That's how much of an advantage in straight line the Trans Am car has. And the Trans Am is right behind the Aston Martin right now, going through the chicane again, coming through to the final sector of the lap soon. Very close. Unfortunately, there's no overtaking in this sector lap without making a big risk, essentially. But it would be great to see if this car can get past this time round.
Well, we're getting to the latter stages of the race now. You see the clock to the top left there, 40 minutes left. And I don't think Estregas will want to still be behind by the time we get to the end of that. The gap to the top three, though, is really extended. It's now 9 seconds as comes through turn 13 towards turn number 14. And Estregas said, just planting his car towards the inside. It's just pressure tactics being played here. But this looks like, to me, the closest he's been actually coming down the start-finish straight, because he's going to be side-by-side already. And, well, what do you think is going to happen? Is Heffler's going to park it on the apex again? Let's have a look. And much wider line that time from Estragas, but he just can't find a way through, and he must be getting so frustrated behind the wheel there.
It's the exact same as the last lap. You could see he was braking earlier because obviously the front of the car pitched downwards into the track.
Yeah.
And that was probably maybe 20 metres before where they were doing it earlier. You say replay of our leader, Aldo Festante, who's almost got 10 seconds in hand now up front. So I think this could be the win he really wanted yesterday, and he's redeemed himself today.
Yeah, doesn't have to apologise this time. For a podium, how strange is that? Here they come down to the chicane, and you can see the frustration now starting to appear from Estragas. That gap is coming down, isn't it? Manuel Cerqueda did a 153.3 last time. He was 9/10 quicker than Heffler and Estragas, who we see in the picture, and the gap is now 5.5 seconds. And he was 8/10 quicker through the first sector alone.
And he's just got past.
And Estragas has just got past as I look away.
We both missed that.
Oh no.
Examining the timing screen, see the position behind, because to be honest, we weren't expecting him to get past now. We were waiting until we come back to turn one. But you can see how much of a gap he's already opened up in about 5 corners.
Oh, I do apologise. All that time we waited. Wow.
There
we go.
Yeah, actually a personal best in sector 3. That's how much pace that car has that's been stopped
Here we
by
go.
the car.
Should we find out how it happened? You all know.
So we
Let's
saw
find
that
out.
happening.
Oh, right. That's a brilliant move, actually. What a move that was. That was appreciated down in the garage. That was a brilliant overtake, wasn't it, by Estragas? See, that's where he needed to do. Try somewhere he hadn't tried before. And that's exactly what he done into turn 9. And I've got to say, I haven't really seen any overtakes into there all weekend through all 3 classes.
I don't think I've ever seen an overtake into that corner.
That's extremely difficult to do. And I mean,
now we should probably examine what his lap times are going to be in clear air, because Jean Font is 10 seconds ahead. We've got 10 minutes left.
I do have to say, Manuel Cerqueda did a personal best last time of 152.7. And his gap is now 2.8 to Heffler, and Estragas is 2 seconds clear. So you're right, we've got 10 minutes to see what Estragas can do with no one in his way, because all race he's had someone in his way.
Yeah, it looks like Festante, even if he does start dropping time, he's got a car in between him and Luttweiler as well in the BMW.
Here they go. Down the straight then. There's Festante, over 10 seconds clear from Nicky Luttweiler, who we can't even see anymore.
And we've had a message for the car of Michael, the team manager Michael Blanchimont to report to race control. It's been there for about 15 minutes, and we presume it was just a timing thing. But it's actually said the last chance to go, so he's in a bit of trouble it seems.
Right, he's got to get over there. When a warning like that comes up, you have to respect it. So. The word will be given to him if it isn't already, and he'll be told he has to get over there ASAP now. So this is a man that could be in trouble shortly. Again, Robert Heffler, because Manuel Cerqueda is closing in on him. Last time round, he closed the gap by over a second. This is the man to watch now in these last 10 minutes, Manuel Cerqueda.
Getting very good.
I tell you what, Estragas got by at a very good time there. Better late than never, because that gap was coming down, and that's what we were looking at whilst he went past. But Estragas, it was important, that he had to get by. I think he may have even seen Manuel Cerqueda in the mirrors, coming down the straight, getting closer and closer and closer, and that's when he was like, right, you need to get by now, and that's exactly what he's done. He's gone up to 4th place, and He did last time a 152.8, which was 0.8 quicker than Jean Font.
It actually looks like Stragas is faster in the middle sector. We're waiting to see his time come through. Jan Font at 41.972 in sector 2. Let's see what Stragas comes up with in about 41.6. Yeah, so it's not even in the straight lines that he's gaining his advantage.
No, that's sector 2. Where does that start? That's, you know, sort of turns 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the real twisty section of the circuit. That impressive, very impressive stuff. We could be saying that about the man in picture now soon as well. Manuel Cerqueda, as he starts to close in on Robert Heffler. Gap 2.5 seconds, or at least it was. Let's have a look as they come across the line. Across the line they go, and I think it's, has it remained? It's come down to 2.1. So 2.1 seconds now between those guys. So he's got time, 7.5 minutes. He's got the time here to Manuel Cerqueda to close this gap down. There's a good view of what 2 seconds looks like in these cars. And Heffler, after a quick break, is going to have to start defending once again. Estragas has brought the gap down to Jean Font by 9.2. It's a real shame in a way that he didn't get by straight away, because if he did, he might have been able to give Jean Font a bit of a run for his money.
Jean Font keeps pulling away in the first sector lap, and then Estragas is pulling back that time in the final 2 sectors.
Yeah.
Goes against everything we've seen prior to him overtaking Robert Heffler.
I'm not sure if this is a word, you know, Jean Font. It's like, right, you know, you're being caught now. You know, let's just. I mean, 9.4 seconds is a really large gap, but there might be a case of Jean Font just wanting to prove a point that he wouldn't get caught anyway. He does a 42 flat in the second sector. We won't see what Estragas does. We continue to monitor this. This is the gap between
41.5.
Wow. Okay. So the gap is now 8.8 seconds. If Jan wants to make a big mistake somewhere, then the race for third is on.
It is a kind of reversal of race 1, because Festante is 17 seconds up on Jan Font. And yesterday it was a reversal, Font 1 and Festante was 17 seconds behind.
Yeah.
Stragas barely raced at all, and he's been probably the raciest car today.
Yeah.
And is up in 4th place.
Well, he come from last to 4th. It's not bad at all. This is Manuel Cerqueda, who we are looking at catching Robert Heffler. He's only 1.5 seconds back now. This is going to be a race that could go down to the wire, this.
So Jan Font's faster again in the 3rd sector. It's all in the middle sector that Stragas is taking time out of the 3rd place car. There's only 5.5 minutes left. It's very unlikely he's going to close down that gap that still stands roughly at 9 seconds.
No, it is quite unlikely, isn't it? But you never know. As head up towards turn number 4. We've got a penalty for car 88. 10-second time penalty. Change the driver outside the window. Well, that makes... He left it too late, basically, didn't he? Or came in too early, one or the other. Stefan Adler.
Who's currently lapped down, I believe. That's the BMW.
Well, yeah, they were the last driver not to come in, actually. They were the last team. Of course, Blanchimont was out there, wasn't he? And then he had that problem, came in for that problem. And then their driver change was...
That may explain why they dropped 30 seconds on the last safety car lap. The safety car lap just came as the pit stop window opened.
Yeah, and that's when they dived in. So I think it was trying to play clever tactics of let's get in when the safety cars in, or just a misjudgment. But Stefan Adler is in that car, and they're going to be getting a 10-second time penalty, which isn't going to drop them from 8th place because Luis Silva is out of the race. So Heffler here, 5th place, but for how long? Manuel Cerqueda just over a second behind him now as they come out of the final corner and make their way down the start-finish straight.
And Jan Font has actually dropped his pace quite a bit. He's gone to the 1:55. Stragas is on 1:53, as is Cerqueda. So those are the 2 fastest cars besides our leader, Aldo Festante.
To come out of turn number 1 and down towards 2, and already there, Heffler's having to go defensive here. Manos Cerqueda looking left, looking right, and he's going to outbrake himself. Oh no, he's just thrown away the chance now of trying to take 5th place, and that was all Heffler's defensive driving there that just put Manos Cerqueda off. He didn't need to try that hard going into that corner. You know, it's a hard corner to overtake out there. And he might get one more chance. 1.4 is now the gap, so he might get one more chance at this. Let's have a look. So Manos Cerqueda, I think, is trying to be a little bit too clever there. Gets caught out by the slowing Robert Heffler.
It's a very strange kind of. He locked the brakes as he was about to start accelerating again.
I think he was just, you know, he's just caught out there. I think he was so focused on, you know, just kind of forgot to brake almost. I think there, Manos Cerqueda, and in the end did well to slow the thing down in time. He might get one more shot at this, though. He's going to be fired up inside there, isn't he, as they head down towards turn 12?
Looks like Astregas's mission to take 3rd place in Jan Font is probably over now. He's not faster in the middle sector, which has been his traditional hunting ground over the last kind of 10 laps. So it looks like Jan Font has pretty much secured 3rd place.
It's basically a reverse of what we saw yesterday with Nicky Lukweiler once again in the middle. We haven't seen him for a while, but here is your leader, Auro Vistante. Over 10 seconds clear now, 13.4 as you can see. And what a race he's had. This is exactly what he would have hoped to have done yesterday. It's not quite worked out, but today he's come back and he's going to take this first win in style, isn't he? He got a podium yesterday. Today looks like he's going to go 2 better. This is the car in second, Nicky Lukweiler, who has jumped in for the second half of the race, taking over from Vincent Beltois. Since then, they have dropped back, but Nicky Lukweiler started the race yesterday, and it was Beltois closing in, wasn't it? So I guess you could say that kind of makes sense that was to happen. And then Jan Font, some 10 seconds back in 3rd. Then we have Astregas Heffler, but Heffler only has half a second here over Manos Cerqueda, the battle we were watching. That one's close once again, so Manos Cerqueda is going to get one more chance at trying to, well, at least one more chance at trying to get 5th place. Hopefully we'll see that move this time. Down towards T12 there goes Jan Font, who rounds out the podium positions with 40 seconds remaining.
Cerqueda's just set personal best in the speed trap again, so he's definitely getting very close to the back of Heffler.
Yeah, he's right on the back of him, isn't he, as they start the final lap of the race. This is Jan Font.
No, he's actually dropped time. Dropped time to Heffler.
He's dropped time in the middle sector. I haven't seen them come down the start-finish straight yet. We are just keeping an eye on another battle whilst you guys watch out over Stante. I don't think... I can see them come around the final corner now, actually. Heffler and Cerqueda. And I'm not sure he's going to be close enough to make a move on the final lap. And there they go. So that would be a big ask, but we will see. Manos Cerqueda was 6/10 behind coming across the line in that battle for 5th place. But only half a lap remaining now, and Auro Vistante will be his first race win of the season in just the 2nd race of 2020. Qualified on pole position yesterday, did Auro Vistante, and didn't quite work out for him, finished 3rd, but another pole today, and looks like he's going to seal the win.
Yeah, it's a great result, and a great result for the Omba Racing team, which has a long history in motorsport.
Out of turn number 11 and down to turn 12 then, Auro Vistante. He was obviously, you could see the disappointment that he didn't go and win yesterday. I think a little bit disappointed to have walked away with 3rd. That pole position today was almost a bit of a relief for him. Proved back to himself that he could go fastest, he could win. He said earlier that was what he wanted and that was all he was going to take. And it's going to work out for Aldo Vestante. Round the final corner he comes. And Aldo Vestante is going to win race number 2 of the 2020 season in GT Cup Open Europe as he comes across the line. And that will be a huge relief for him this weekend. 2 pole positions. He really thoroughly deserves that result. Nicky Leutwiler, here he comes. He and Vincent Beltoir will finish in second place. 2 second places in as many races for them. And your race winner yesterday, Jean Font, he will come across the line any second to finish in 3rd place. He's just negotiating the final corner now, and here he comes, Jean Font. 2 podiums, a 1st and a 3rd for him. The points are pretty much going to be level, aren't they, with the way the results have gone this weekend. Albert Estrellas comes across the line from a DNF to a 4th to him, and that's how close the battle for 5th was in the end. Robert Heffler 5th. Manuel Cerqueda will feel that may have been an opportunity gone amiss because of that misjudgment he had on the brakes in towards turn number 2. Sable Walter 7th, Stefan Adler 8th with a penalty, and Lewis Silva sadly didn't finish. So there is confirmation of your results. The on-rated driver, Aldo Vestante, takes the win by 12.7 seconds over Leutwiler and Beltoir. Font in 3rd, and the Trans Am Eurocar of Albert Estrellas 4th, and then it's Heffler and Valenza, Diaz Varela and Cerqueda, Sego and Walter, Adler and Blanchimont, Combra and Silva round out the field. Sadly, Lewis Silva retiring that car on lap number 9. Well, that's how the championship looks. Absolutely tied for points, aren't we, at the top? As you can see, the top 3 in the championship split by just 1 point. Well, it's going to be exciting going into the 2nd round of the season, isn't it? Aldo Vestante, Jean Font, Nicky Leutwiler and Beltoir there. 1 point between them. It is only the 1st round, of course, so drivers do not tend to pay too much attention to the championship results, but nevertheless, we haven't got anyone running away with it so far, haven't we? Which is always good to see. And Aldo Vestante is going to make his way now into pit lane after taking a race win. There's the 2nd place drivers. That's going to be Nicky Leutwiler. They'll be happy with that one. And 1 point between our top 3. They will go to heads again in just a couple of weeks' time at the Paul Ricard circuit. But Aldo Vestante pulls in, and I think he's going to be delighted with this. He kind of expected that he was going to win after that pole position almost, and a huge relief for him. Well done to Aldo Vestante. He deserved that. 2 pole positions, a 3rd and a 1st. That is an incredibly good start to the season for him. And well, you can just tell that that is a huge relief to get that one off his back. And this could be dangerous for the other competitors. This could see him hit some big form with a win like that. That said, we've got to give credit to Nicky Leutwiler and Vincent Beltoir, who ran him close all weekend. And then, of course, we had Jean Font, who won yesterday, and good respect shown there from Aldo Vestante. And this was the moment he took his 1st win of the season. Will it be one of many? You'll have to find out and join us throughout the season. But Aldo Vestante, their team, very happy with that. A race win for them in the 1st weekend of the season. And we're going to hear from Aldo Vestante very shortly. But before we do, let's just talk a little bit more about Nicky Leutwiler and Vincent Beltoir. 2 2nd places. They came close to winning twice this weekend. They will be hoping that they can put that right at the next round. But they're very happy with that one. 2 2nd places. That's a very good result. If you don't win a race, finish 2nd, right? And they've done that twice. So good points on the board for them, and they are only 1 point back from the championship lead as Jan Font tied on points with Aldo Vestante after his 1st and a 3rd. I think he'll be quite pleased with that one. Like Aldo Vestante had to do it all on his own as well. And he's definitely had a few more years behind the seat than Aldo Vestante, hasn't he? But Jan Font, very happy with that, I'm sure. 1st and a 3rd, so it looks like an obvious 3-way fight for the title in terms of our overall title. Jean Font, the leader in out. Well, here was your top 3 then. Jean Font finished in 3rd and took the win win in the AM class. Brilliant race from him. Second, once again, Leutwiler and Beltois, 2 podiums in as many races. A good weekend for them. But he came close to winning it yesterday. Third place it was yesterday from pole position. Another pole today, and today he wins by 12.7 seconds. Here is Aldo Bastante.
Aldo Bastante, this time it worked out very well despite the safety car, but this time everything was right and you could materialize the victory from the pole.
This time we brought it home. It was tough. Vincent is a really good driver. He was so consistent. I was looking at the mirrors and he was always there, not gaining an inch. And then in the fight, he was really sharp and aggressive, though it was really fair. And I was too. I think that was a great fight. I had fun. Then it was just about being consistent, not making mistakes. Because I know, like, you know, the smallest mistakes you can waste a win. And I'm just feeling, I don't know, I got no words, it's just priceless. The team made a great job, great for yesterday to today. The car felt so much better, both this morning and this afternoon. Just can't thank them enough. I hope we'll keep it on and we'll win more races because that's what they deserve best.
How hot it was in the car?
It was as hot as a sun. I got a son at home. I can say sometimes it is colder than the car was today. You know, I thought I had a lot of drink left when I crossed the finish line, and then I started chewing a bit. I started drinking a bit, and after 2 corners it was over. I was like, wow, that's how much I've been drinking during the race. Oh my, we gotta get a bigger drinking bottle for next time.
Good. Now time to drink champagne and to enjoy. Podium. Well done.
Cheers.
Bravo.
Cheers.
GT Cup Open Europe racing once again here on Sunday at the Hungaroring for the second race of the season. And Aldo Bastante, as he did yesterday, would lead us down towards turn number 1 for the first time. Looking to the outside there was Vincent Beltois as he bidded to take the lead early on. Jan Font likewise trying to slot into second place. That was Luis Silva who ran into dramas at the first corner, and he would do so again later in the race, eventually coming to a halt. But Aldo Bastante did all he needed to do to hold on to the race lead. This was Luis Silva when he went for a dive bomb on the number 88 of Michael Blanchimont, making contact. Behind that, we had a charging Albert Estregas in the Trans Am Euro car, making a brilliant recovery after a DNF yesterday. That was just 2 of the moves he completed on his way to 4th place. Blanchimont was called into pit lane, unfortunately, and would eventually pick up another penalty during their pit stop. This was just one of several moves that the 26 car did. That was when Luis Silva unfortunately came to a halt. Once we had the safety car back in, the race got going again. Aldo Bastante would have to deal with a little bit of pressure, but dealt with it incredibly well and would build himself up a gap over the likes of Vincent Beltois and Nicky Leutwiler behind. Then the pit stops happened, driver changes likewise. This was the move of the weekend, going into the right-hander there at turn number 9 from Albert Estregas. But out front, all views were on Aldo Bastante at the end as he took the race win by 12.7 seconds over Nicky Leutwiler, who would finish in second place. 2 second places for them, Jan Font third, and it was a huge relief for Aldo Bastante to take that win he felt he could have took yesterday.
Also, we have a winner team which is
Now to the podium. Aldo Bastante there in the middle of your picture. The race winner to the left of screen, second place Leutwiler and Beltois. And then to the right there, Jan Font, the AM winner, finished in third place.
big joy for the podium finishers of the overall category, the GT Cup in Europe. It's Jaime Font, Nicky Leutwiler, Vincent Beltois, and Aldo Bastante. Guys, you have the cups behind you, so I first ask the third driver, who is Jaime Font, to raise your cup.
The trophies, of course, already out there for the drivers. There you see Jan Font, who finished in third place.
Thank you.
Brilliant stuff from him, and winner as well. And finishing in second place, as they did yesterday, Nicky Leutwiler and Vincent Beltoir. They're very pleased with that one. A brilliant start to the season for them. And likewise, third place yesterday, race winner today, Aldo Vistante. Brilliant drive from him, dominant performance in the second race, and he'll hope to continue that throughout the season. And the winning team, Ombra Racing, the winning team for Aldo Vistante. They're a brilliant job by them to bring that car home to a race win today, double podium as well. They'll smile for some photos, and then that will shortly wrap up the overall podium celebrations. It's been a brilliant weekend for GT Cup Open Europe at the Hungaroring. Some people keen to get off the podium and others with the champagne celebrations. And GT Cup Open Europe, that concludes the weekend for them. It's been a brilliant weekend. Thank you very much for joining us for some fantastic racing, and we do it all again in a couple of weeks' time. Hope you've enjoyed all the action. Don't forget to stay with us though here at the Hungaroring. Coming up next will be Euro Formula Open, and after that we'll have International GT Open racing for you all afternoon wherever you are watching from. Thank you very much for tuning in. This has been GT Cup Open Europe live from Hungaroring.
We are ready to continue with the Pro AM podium ceremony, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, in this special time, first I call to the podium the second place, Nicky Leutwiler and Vincent Beltoir. Well done, guys, in the Pro AM category.
So 2 more podiums left, of course. We've got the AM podiums and the Pro-Am podiums to do as well. Finishing third in Pro-Am was the car of Robert Heffler and Philippe Valenza. Here they come onto the podium now. Well, that's of course our Aldo Vistante. To the left is Nicky Leutwiler and Vincent Beltoir, but now in third place here come Robert Heffler and Philippe Valenza. And I think they'll be happy with that. They didn't finish yesterday, so to take a podium is not bad for them at all. So Vistante there, Leutwiler and Beltoir, Heffler and Valenza on the right of your screen. Well, I hope you've all enjoyed the racing here from the Hungaroring GT Cup Open Europe. Stay with us though here. We're about to go into Euro Formula Open next. International GT Open will follow after. But if you have to leave us, it's goodbye for now.